What's up, everybody? Come on in, come on in. It's time for Single Talk. And no, it is not 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. For those of you who faithfully follow, we normally do this, every other Tuesday at 8 o'clock. But today is a bonus feature just because we don't stop being single or dealing with whatever it is that we're dealing with in our lives just because it's a different day, right? So I thought we'd bless you on this morning with an amazing speaker, trainer, actually probably one of my first mentors, y'all. I am beyond excited to talk with Miss Tiffany Beverly Malott and to be able to share with you guys just some tips and some tools on how to find beauty in your broken pieces. Huh? Isn't that's something else, right? Because a lot of times we think it's either this or it's that. Hi, Diana. Hi, everybody. Come on in. Y'all, listen, as you're coming in, make sure you send up some hearts so we can feel the love. Share this with your friends and family. You do not want to miss this. I don't care if you're single, if you are married, even though this is single talk, if you are divorced, if you a wannabe, you don't know what you want to be. You don't want to miss this. So make sure you tag some friends, tag your family, tag just the person that you think needs to hear some encouragement this morning and looking at their life from a new perspective. Is that all right? Okay, so we started just a little bit late, trying to work out some technical difficulties. So without further ado, come on for Urdu. And before I even bring on Miss Tiffany, just in case this is your first time joining, again, this is a platform that I created for singles and for people interested in just their wholeness, in their oneness, and just kind of killing the stigma that goes along with being single. It's not a bad word, right? And we're here to dispel some myths. So again, I'd like to bring on Miss Tiffany Beverly Malott. Y'all, fingers crossed that we have a good connection, no feedback. She is an amazing, like I said, speaker, trainer, from direct sales to encouragement and empowerment. I faithfully stalk her on Instagram because she is just that amazing and just that fabulous. Actually, that's kind of how we connected. I've known her from back in the day, being a part of a multi-level marketing company together, and just since then, I just have admired her. I watched her growth. And it's just been a beautiful thing to watch, right? And so I aspire, even now, Tiffany, you were my mirror match. Cass Humes matched me with you, and even now I see you, and I'm like, Lord, can I be but a reflection of the amazing Tiffany Beverly Malott? So without further ado, I'm going to bring you right on. Hopefully we won't have any issues connecting. Hey, Chandra, I see you there. All right, I'm pressing. Before it gave us the option. Oh, here it is. Let's see here. Yes. There. Yes. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
Welcome to Single Talk Live. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you. I think it's great already just listening to you and what you're doing for others. I'm very excited to be here.
No, we're excited to have you. We know it's the middle of the day. Some people are taking their lunch break to be able to catch us. Some people are going to catch us later. Either way, whether you're watching us now or watching us later, there's going to be some amazing nuggets that you can take with you. And so, Tiffany, I reached out to you, as I kind of was saying before I brought you on, because the thing is, you never know who's watching. But I've been watching you, and I said stalking. I'm not literally stalking you, but
I
maybe a little
understand.
bit. No, watching you on Facebook and Instagram, and just seeing you live. People say live your best life, but just kind of watching and admiring that, despite some of the things that you may have been through. And there's a couple of things that you said, and as I was reading through your website, and it was about, and I might be messing it up, but you get me together. being unstoppable, and all of that, and kind of coming together, even in the midst of all the different things that we go through in life. So why don't we start by, maybe for those people who are just tuning in, just getting to know you, for you just to tell them about, your story, who you are, what you do currently, and how you were able to sustain that kind of over time.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I know it's not your normal time, and so I appreciate you working me into the schedule. So I will start off by saying I used to make jelly for a living.
Yeah.
18 years ago, I was working in a factory as a jelly maker. I was working 6, 7 nights a week, 10, 12 hours a night, and was really looking for, wanted something different, but didn't know what it was. And so I stumbled upon a non-traditional business, as you refer to, a network marketing company, and that completely changed my life. Took me from this kind of mediocre middle class existence that I was going to settle for, to expanding my vision and opening my mindset to where I literally got a chance to meet people who had done things I'd never done but always wanted to do, and become more than I ever thought I could. And along that time, there's a lot of growth, So I went from making jelly in a factory, trying to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, to a six-figure income in that company, a multiple six-figure income in that company, and went to another company 7 years ago and became a millionaire in that company. And I've been able to help a lot of people. Seriously, like, the best part of the story is how many people I got a chance to help. A lot of them were just part-time income because that's what they wanted, but I've been able to help quite a few, like over 100 plus people, reach a six-figure income, multiple six-figure income, and even created some millionaires around the globe. So very, very, very blessed with that part of it, and every part of it. I would say what I do now. I recently, last year, retired from network marketing after 18 years, and decided to find myself. Quite honestly, I took a year to decide what was my gift. And I realized that my gift is sharing my story, being transparent, and coaching and training people, and transforming themselves, because that's exactly what I've done on this journey. I've become a totally different person and transformed myself from the inside out. So I'm a transformation expert now, and I do that through high performance coaching, one-on-one and group coaching. And a speaker. I've written a little. I have a book that I'm publishing soon, and I'm an entrepreneur. So that just means I hustle and I love it, and whatever I come up with, I make money off of it. So, so that's what I do now. That's what I do, and really, my greatest role right now is that of a mom. I have a 9.5-year-old daughter that I realize is my greatest joy, but also my greatest task. And it's about leaving a legacy. And so that's really what I'm focused on right now, is just raising my daughter, and it's faith, family, and then finance, right? So my relationship with God, relationship with my daughter, and then what I do to make money. And so I've become very guarded of my time and my associations and the choices that I make to provide for her. So it's not just money I'm chasing, but it's time and the experiences that we get a chance to create together.
Oh my God, I love it. There's a couple things, you were saying, over that 18-year stint of doing, the network marketing, you helped so many people, whether it was, they became thousandaires or millionaires, or just what, the seed was planted for them to know that they didn't have to stay in the job if they didn't want to, and not definitely and one of those people that you affected along the way, or I can even say infected, because now I'm I got the virus, I can't go back, and so it's a beautiful thing, so I'm a part of the fruit that you bear, Tiffany.
Thank you.
So you know that. And so, and I love that about you. And so just kind of moving into a little bit of a transparent space. And again, share as much as you want to. Don't share what you don't want to. But when I met you, again, it was in this kind of network marketing space, and it was a couple. You were, it was you and it was the husband. And so we had like you said, the faith and the family, the way we think, the way society says it should be, right? And then the other aspects of it. And so then that changed. And so how did you continue to maintain? Because when what we believe is sometimes twisted or changed, sometimes it can affect our faith altogether. So how did you work through that process?
Well, I would just say just what happened was I started on this journey alone.
Yeah.
I was a single woman working, and in that journey, I met a man, John, and we got married. And we had a blended family. He had three daughters from a previous marriage before.
Mhm.
So I was, doing the wife stepmom thing, and then I was very blessed to have my daughter. And so we were an interracial couple. We were a blended family, and we were business partners and good friends.
That's a lot.
And then we went on, and I would just say network marketing. Marriage is hard. Network marketing is hard. It's almost insane to do the two together, especially the way we did.
Yeah.
But we made it work for 10 years, and people change. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to say we evolved. I evolved into a new person. He became someone different, and
Mhm.
I'll just leave it at
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but the truth is, all of a sudden I looked up, and what I thought was going to be my life, someone else made a decision, and it wasn't going to be that anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so you asked, how did I sustain? And at first, that was my mindset. My mindset was to sustain. My mindset was to just keep it moving, and I really tried to keep this marriage together for quite a while. And then I realized, look, if someone doesn't want to be with me, that's on them. That's their loss. But I started this journey alone. So because I started this journey
Mm.
alone, and that's how we all come into the world. We come in by
And that's how
ourselves.
we
Even if
leave it.
you a twin,
Mhm.
exactly, you come in by yourself. And so what I realized, what I was fighting for was the image. What I was fighting for, because it had become toxic. It had become debilitating, and we were no longer helping and growing each other.
Yeah.
And when you're not taking care of you, you cannot take care of anyone else.
Woo.
And so if you don't want to be here, the best thing I can do, not just for you, but for me, is to release you. Because when you try to hang on to somebody, when you try to hang on to somebody who doesn't want to be there, then you are creating all types of toxic energy, bad
Mm.
energy around yourself, because you are chasing something, and whatever you chase runs from you. And so what
Wow.
I learned was that no longer. So when I realized he didn't want to make it work and he had made his decisions, I accepted that. And that's when I got back my power.
Woo.
Now, here's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand that you can be powerful even when you look weak,
Wow.
even
That
when you're going through
vulnerability.
the
Yeah.
hardest. Yes. And even when you're going through the hardest part of your life, it doesn't mean you're weak because you cry. Doesn't mean you're weak because you're praying hard. It doesn't mean you're weak because you're sad today or a few days.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're weak. In fact, it means that you're powerful, because power is going through it and coming out on the other side. And understanding that there is somebody, a better version of yourself waiting. And so that's what I realized I needed to do. And so I accepted that, and I just I let him go.
Yeah.
And we did what we did. So as far as sustaining, at first I was trying to sustain and maintain.
Mhm.
What I changed my outlook was, I've got to thrive. I have got to become better, because I did not get here because of him.
Woo.
I got here with him, but not because of him.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see the
Yes,
difference?
ma'am.
And a lot of people think they need somebody else to get them there. I didn't need somebody else to get me there. He just got a chance to join me on my journey. And so this journey is still going, and our paths are now parallel versus walking together.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely fine. We are co-parents. We're cool. But the truth is, what I realized is that when someone tried to make me believe you won't be here, you won't make it, you won't be able to do it because you don't have me, that's when I realized I got to show everybody who I was.
Yes.
Because there are two people in a couple.
Huh.
Okay, it's two people. All right. And two brought that and made it happen. Exactly. It was two. It wasn't one. And just because I let you join me doesn't mean this journey and this vision won't happen because you decided to go somewhere else. And so that is how, instead of sustaining, that's how I began to thrive. And it hurt. It hurt for a long time. There's my daughter. There's my daughter will forever remember this season as, Mommy, do you remember when you cried every day?
Wow.
Do you remember when you cried every day? And then she says, Mommy, do you remember when you started smiling and laughing every day? You just got happy again. And so I am not ashamed that she remembers there was a point where I cried every day, because we all gonna cry.
Yes.
Right? We're all
Yes.
gonna cry.
Yes.
But what I'm excited about is that she remembers in her spirit,
Come on.
in her child's mind, she will remember there was a point where my mom was down and she got back up.
Woo!
Not another man came in her life and brought her back up. My daughter is going to remember it was me, her, and the good Lord Jesus. And we did this thing together, and that's how we made it through. And so that's what,
Oh my
and
God.
that's where I find my joy. That's where I find it. And that's how I did it. Because if I don't, number one, my daughter's going to always think once someone walks out of your life, there's nothing left of you. And that's just not the case. That person was there for a season. He could have been here a lot longer, but he chose not to. That's on him. Okay. In my opinion, that's his loss. I think he knows it too, but I'm going to leave that alone. But the truth of the matter is you just have to accept that, right? You just have to accept that and just keep going. And that's what I've done. That's exactly how I've made it through.
Oh my God. Okay, so first, there's a lot that's coming up from that, and I'm fighting back tears because that's just the part that you talked about, you know, with the people that are watching. So whether it's your own children or especially being a public figure, the other people that are watching you, unfortunately, that's a responsibility that now we take on when you're exposed. Yes. There's no choice. Okay, I want you to expose this, but not that. So now this is the responsibility. Right. And so again, for someone to see you here or at a place, like you said, where you're in a child's eyes, Mom, you remember when you were crying every day, you remember when you're happy, that's a beautiful thing. So that's the one thing that just, it does something for me. The other thing I heard you saying is choose people that choose you. Listen, if they can walk away, let them walk. You know, that's
as hard as it is.
Woo, I've heard that TDJ say that a few times. And Tiffany Beverly Malott, oh my God, you are blessing some people up in here because a lot of times, you know, for a woman like yourself who has made it to a 6-figure income, all of these different things going on from the other side, it looks like everything's together. So for you to share that transparency and show people that we're all human. We all have to put our pants on one leg at a time. We all bleed, you know, and we all hurt. But how do we, you know, pick ourselves out of it? So that being said, for those people that might be watching that might be newly divorced or even in going through a hard breakup, what can you say? I mean, there's the statement, and maybe we can move from that statement, beauty in the broken pieces. What does that mean? And, you know, how can we glean from that?
Well, so that I get that is my saying that I derived from a Japanese art form called kintsugi. And basically, if most of the time, if someone breaks a glass or breaks a bowl or breaks a plate, we either throw it away, sweep it up and throw it away, or we take super glue and we put it back together. Yeah. And the whole point is we super glue and try to put it back together so it looks like it did before it got broken.
Right.
Okay. The Japanese art form kintsugi, actually what they do is when something is broken, they take the pieces and they put it back together with a gold glaze. And once it's put back together, you actually see the cracks and where it was broken, and they highlight it with gold glaze. Wow. And kintsugi means golden repair. And basically their whole philosophy is because it was broken and put back together, that makes it even better, that makes it more beautiful, and that makes it art. And so that's where I derived the saying for me in my life is beauty in the broken pieces. There was a point where I felt like everything was together and then it was all shattered. And I had a choice that I could make right then and there. And that choice was I could scoop myself up and throw me away, or I could try to put myself back together with super glue and act like it never happened. Yeah. Or I could actually accentuate the places that I was broken, because in that art form, the places that were broken, where they put it back together, it actually becomes stronger. Where it was broken, it was actually stronger and more beautiful because they highlight it and they put it back together with a gold glaze. And so that is what I've decided for my life, that I am that art form. I am beauty in the broken pieces, and that the places where I fell apart, the places where someone tried to shatter me, that God and me put me back together. Yes. And I don't have a problem with accentuating those places in gold, because that's what made me stronger. That's what made me better. And in my opinion, that's what made me more beautiful. And so that's what I say everyone should do.
Yeah.
Stop trying to act like nothing happened and just become better because of it and be proud of it. Because I'm not ashamed of being divorced. I had someone, I had a video that went viral, and I made the mistake of reading some of the comments. I made the mistake of reading some of the comments, and some of the comments were, "Oh, so she's a millionaire. Oh, she's making 6 figures a month and 7 figures a year. But she ain't good enough to keep a man. If she was all that, she would have been able to keep a man." And then there was another part where it said, somebody else said something to the effect of, if she knows so much, she should have taught herself how to keep a man. And at first that really hurt me, right? That really hurt me. But what I realized was that that's someone else's ignorance, number one, in thinking that that is success. All right. I actually read a quote that a man is successful when he has achieved his heights, he has the money, he has the house, he has the family, and all this kind of stuff. A woman feels most successful when she has a man. All right. And I don't know who came up with that, but the truth of the matter is that success is relative. And there are some people who feel like they won't be complete until they are married. And I will just tell you this. I was married for 10 years. We were together for a total of 13 and a half years. I did not know how incomplete I was until after I was no longer married. And it was because I actually thought that my marriage made me successful. I actually thought that being married was another box that I had checked off, and I was doing the successful woman thing, the wife, the mom, the businesswoman, the boss, that sort of thing. What I realized was that I wasn't living for me. Now, this is not true for all marriages. There are some marriages where the people actually honor and respect each other, which we did for quite a while. There are some marriages where people fight through and they keep it together. They don't say, well, I'm done. It's hard today, so I'm out. Like what I went through. They don't do that, okay? But in my marriage, what I realized that Tiffany wasn't being true to Tiffany any longer because she was hanging on to what she thought that success was. And so when his version of his best life was different from mine, and he made decisions to go someplace else, after I got over the hurt and the humiliation of how it was done and what happened in that process, I realized when I let myself be alone again, and not lonely, but alone again. And there's a difference. All right. Alone is finding joy in you and who you are and the space that you have with your creator. Just finding peace and happiness in you and your gifts and what you have. Lonely is being alone and feeling like you need somebody else there to make you feel better. And what I found was I felt complete and whole because I started feeding me again. I started filling up my cups again, started doing what I love to do again, which is mission trips and traveling to new places, which I never did while I was married. And so that is a huge part of who I am and what I want to do. And it was missing. It was totally and completely missing for 13 years. Because I was married. So I'm not saying marriage is bad. I'm gonna get married again. I got plenty who want to marry me. But the truth is, no, I'm just saying that.
I don't know. It was like an African. I said, yes. I said, Tiffany, one day I'm gonna reach it. I'm on my way. I said, if this is what 40s look like, I'm gladly walking in, honey.
You know what? Here's the thing. Every age can look the best if you love yourself.
True.
You know what I mean? And I feel better in my 40s than I did in my 30s and in my 20s because I love who I am now. I absolutely think I'm awesome. And it doesn't matter to me who doesn't agree. I just think I'm great. I just not in an arrogant way, but in a child of God way. I mean, you know, there's a song by Britt Nicole, and it says "In Your Eyes." And the lyrics basically says she was looking at herself as bad and messed up because of what she was failing at, what she wasn't accomplishing. And then she finally looked at herself the way God looked at her. And then she realized how awesome she was. That's in a nutshell. And so what I did was I stopped looking at myself in his eyes, in my ex-husband's eyes, and how his version of his self change the way he saw me. I stopped looking at myself the way he
Oh,
saw me,
uh-huh.
because that's what happens. It's not all the time you. Sometimes it's us
Sometimes
now.
it is,
It
right.
takes two
Sometimes it's
people.
not,
It
right.
takes two people. But my point is, when a person doesn't see you the same anymore, when a person says, oh, you changed, or you're not this, or you're not that, or you need to do this, it is not always you. And the majority of the time, it is them.
Mm-hmm.
They are
Mm-hmm.
changing.
Mm-hmm.
They are evolving. And basically what they're saying and doing is a projection of how they see themselves and how they feel about
Wow.
themselves.
Sure.
And that gets projected onto you. And once I realized what happened towards the end of my marriage really didn't have as much to do with me as it had to do with him,
Mm-hmm.
then I found peace and I could fall in love with me again.
Ooh.
And that's what I said. That's what I became. I got on a journey to do. When the divorce was final and that new year hit, and I said, this year people make resolutions, and I didn't make a resolution. I made a promise.
Yeah.
I was going to fall in love all over again. I was going to fall in love with Jesus again. I was going to fall in love with my daughter again, and I was going to fall in love with me again. And I've been doing that ever since. And when you love you, you'd be surprised how many awesome people show up to love you as well.
Oh my God. Well, I love you, Miss Tiffany Beverly Malai.
Thank you. I love you
like
too.
genuinely. And my mom was like, I'm praying for both of y'all. So she's gonna be watching later, but she's like, I can't wait to see my Tiffany. Oh, she's hilarious.
I love her.
There's something that you said earlier that just kept standing out to me, and I want to make sure that people get this. And I don't even know if you realize you were saying it. Well, maybe internally or subconsciously you do. You kept saying, when God and me. And so I think that a lot of times what happens is after we've gone through some type of tragedy or some type of low place, sometimes we feel like God needs to do all the work and drag me out. And while He's there and to support and to give you that peace, we got to do the work. And so it's the coupling of that, faith without works is dead. So that's the part I want to make sure people get. And if you want to chime in on that, great. And then after that, maybe let's segue into now, this is the next phase of life. And like you said, this is going to help people too. People who have children together, and how do you balance that, as far as, because we don't want to tear down the other parent in the eyes of the child. Right. And what if the rearing isn't how you necessarily would want the child to be reared in and so a lot of people are dealing with that. And then I think the other aspect is the blended family piece, especially when you come together and now you're separated. How do you maintain relationships with those other children as well?
Right.
Yeah.
So going back to the first thing, as far as God and me and working at it, one thing I think everyone needs to understand is that we are His hands and feet, right?
Yeah.
And that's even in our own lives. And so because we have free will, that means we also have the free will to stand up and take His strength and do something with it. And so I feel like so many people are waiting for miracles, but don't realize that they are their own miracle.
Wow.
I don't think they realize that they're waiting for a sign when really He gave you everything you needed to paint your own sign and be your own vision and tell Him. So basically what I feel is that God says, Tiffany, what do you want? What do you want, Tiffany? Like, He already knows what's going to happen, and there's going to be some stuff that I don't want, but He said to me, what do you want? Who do you want to be? And whoever that is, I got you.
Wow.
I got you. And I think a lot of people think that there's all this extra stuff that goes on. But if people truly believe if you believe that's your father, if you truly believe He's your Abba, your dad, I have not met a parent yet, good, bad, or indifferent, that does not want to give their child everything they want, as long as it's going to make them better and not hurt them. And so if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be a great entrepreneur, if you want to be an incredible husband or wife, if you want to have a great family, delay does not mean denial. It is coming. You just have to do your part.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people think, unfortunately, the world has us believing that since we're talking about singleness, a lot of people have the world believing that the world has a lot of people believing that doing your part is just working out, right? And trying to get the small waist and have your beat right and have your wig tight and, and looking all good and all fly and stuff like that, which that is part of it. You got to take care of what you've been given. But there's so much more work to do on the inside. so that light can shine and radiate from you. And you can't do it if you're not saying, show me and do what to do. There used to be a time where I prayed for my marriage to work. I prayed for me to find someone. I prayed for this. And now I just pray for peace and I pray for wisdom. I pray for him to order my steps and for me to be cool with it. And I pray
Yeah.
for the wisdom to do what is right for me and for him and for my daughter and for the people who need to be blessed by my actions.
Yeah.
And that has put me in a different place. And it has allowed me to have that that good feeling of not just everything's going to be okay, but everything's going to be amazing because
Yeah.
I can make it that.
Woo.
Because I can make it that. When you were talking about the co-parenting part, you know, it is not easy. It is definitely not easy. It is a daily journey, in the co-parenting realm. And one of the reasons why is because two people are just two individuals anyway. No matter how long they've been together, no matter how close they are, how great the marriage is, they still have two perspectives on how to raise a child.
Right.
And that's just going to happen all the time. And a lot of it is people's past and upbringing has a lot to do with their ideas, and we never are all raised the same. And so it's not always easy. But what I will say is the number one thing to remember is the child.
Yes.
So many people act like they're doing everything for the best of the child, but a lot of residual feelings, hurt, trauma, and trapped emotions are coming out, and the child is more of a scapegoat or an excuse to let this stuff happen.
Yeah.
And so the main thing is what I've asked myself now is, does this serve me in raising Cody? Is this going to give Cody her best existence? That's my daughter. You know, is this going to truly help her? What's best for her? And what's best for her is in any child is to see that even though two parents are no longer together, they still are together for the benefit of the child and what's best for the child and wanting what's best for the child. And so the way I've done it is I've learned to just not think about me, is to think about her. So in the situation, you know, I don't want a daughter that grows up with daddy issues. So she sees her dad as much as he will let her. And as much as because he's very busy. And so I make sure I encourage it, because just because he doesn't want to be with me, I know he still loves and wants to be with her. Yeah. And that's very, very important. I also really watch what I say about him, because sometimes you can slide in little stuff and it may not, and you think it's on a higher level, but they your child and they know you. So even though you thinking you're talking above their head, they got it. And even if they didn't get it here, they got it here, which is the most dangerous part. That's the most dangerous part, is when they get in their spirit, because our kids are watching, and what we do, they duplicate. So when you've got your little innuendos and your sarcasm, trust me, you may think it went over their head, but you are teaching them to do that. And that kind of stuff just builds bitterness and resentment. It also makes it hard for the child when they go to the other parent,
because they're protected, you know, in that way.
Exactly, because they love both. My daughter said, look, I'm sad that you guys don't love each other, but I still love both of you. And that really hit home for me, because she's the one who lost the most. He got a chance to go get his new life and heal. I've got my new life and heal, and she's 9.
Wow.
Okay, we've been divorced for 2 years and she's 9. Where does she go get a new life? Right? He found a new woman and he's engaged. I'm doing my thing. Let's just leave it at that. And so everybody got a chance to go find other people, but we were her sun and moon, right? So she's 9. Where does she go? What, she go find a boyfriend? She go find her own too? She's 9. And so you have to remember that this is what these kids, they don't have anybody else. And so we have to keep that intact as much as possible, even though it did fall apart. So, you know, a suggestion that I make as far as dealing, you also talked about dealing with the other person. You know, just stay respectful and do not take the high road. Always take the high road, because your children are watching, and some people just love drama. Some people just love drama. Some people think that divorce and blended families actually means everybody's bickering, everybody's arguing,
Right.
everybody mad because I got
Mhm.
your man, or
Right.
dude, I'm with your wife now, you don't do this. A lot of people think that's what it is. That's just not what it is.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't
It is
have to be.
actually, you define what it is. And what it is we're all adults,
Mhm.
right? And the most important situation right now, the most important thing right now is my child. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna
Yeah.
respect you. You're gonna respect me, and I'm gonna respect you when I'm not around you. You're gonna
Ooh.
respect me when I'm not, because this is very key. It's not just enough to sit there and just be cool with each other when you have to see each other, and then be pulling people down
Yeah.
behind their backs,
Yeah.
because that affects the child.
Yeah.
That affects the child. And so the biggest thing is just to say nothing. If you have to vent, go pray first. Say nothing to anybody. But if you really need somebody, get a therapist, get a non-messy friend
Come
that's
on.
not petty and does not tell your business, because a lot of stuff, it just travels. But yeah, I mean, I have, it's also who you choose to model.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look, there are people choose who they want to be like. So if you look at Will and Jada, I
was
mean,
thinking them.
he
Yeah.
he will say he has a baby mama and a wife,
Ooh.
and everybody is friends and everybody is cool. Now, I will say it takes a strong man, a real man, to pull the ex and the wife together and say, this is how it's going down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's going to take the man and the woman to do that. It's going to take the adults to do that. But it is a choice.
Yeah.
It definitely is a choice. And usually the reason why people are still angry at each other and affecting the parenting, the co-parenting, is because they're still resentful. They're still mad. They haven't forgiven. They haven't moved on. They still maybe want that person, or
Yeah.
they still think they should be with that person, or they're still upset because of what that person did to their lives. And the way I've chosen to do it is that he just did me a favor.
Wow.
He did me a favor. She took him off my hands, and not in a bad way, because our trajectory was different.
Yeah.
Our trajectory was different.
Yeah.
We want different things. We want different lifestyles, and I respect him, and what he wants, it's not the same as what I want.
Yeah.
And so because of that, now he has peace and he's happy, and because he's happy, I can stay happy in that regard.
Yeah.
And now we can do what we want to do. And he just released me to create the next best chapter of my life.
Woo!
And I had a great one with him, and now it's just time for the next one. And that's just, if you look at it that way, you can have peace and do what you have to do, which your children are always part of your chapter, of your book, your story, your legacy, so you can keep that intact.
No, I absolutely love it. And it reminded me of something that I did recently. It was for something different, because again, I've never been married, but I had a few, and this might sound a little morbid to y'all, but y'all know I'm a little special. But I had a funeral, and not literally, but I had a funeral for my expectations. And that's a big deal, because a lot of times we are in love, we're in full relationship with an idea of what life should
That's
be,
true.
an idea of what by 25 I was supposed to be, by 35 I'm gonna be, and then what happens is then we're constantly in grief because it hasn't reached that yet. So when I let that go and said, okay, God, like you said, it's this God connection, and I said, okay, God, what is your expectation for me? What am I supposed to offer to the world? You know what? And then in that, again, that releasing, it's something very amazing about letting go, and then what's supposed to come to you comes to you in the right and proper time.
Right.
So that's a beautiful thing.
I love the way you said that. It's having a funeral for your expectations. And what I will say is, I truly believe that there is a beautiful relationship for everybody in everybody's life, a long-term, amazing relationship for everybody.
Yeah.
I actually believe there's more than one, but don't quote me. I just the way the world is.
Yeah.
I think you got three. I think you got three in there. At least, right? But let me just say this. But I do feel that that expectations can destroy it. I do what I feel people should expect is, instead of expecting a timeline and it looks like this, because usually our expectations are based on what someone else told us to want or expect or how to live. What I do, because I'll just tell you, I mean, I'm an affirmation person. I'm a vision board, goal setting fool. And I have achieved and gotten 98+% of everything that I've ever wanted. Everything.
Yeah.
And and I expected to succeed. The thing is, I expected instead of it to come to me a certain way, because a lot of people want it gift wrapped exactly way.
Yeah.
They want this color
Yeah.
wrapping paper with this color bow, and they want it under the tree at this time at this date. What I didn't expect, I expected it to just come.
Yes.
I expect, and what I started doing was I expected to grow into the person that could get it.
That's good.
So a lot of people are expecting it to happen because this is just the way life is supposed to be.
Right.
Like you said, they have a timeline, and this is the way it's supposed to be. What I now expect, and so I'm saying the same thing you're saying, but we went about it in different ways. Instead of expecting this to work like this, what I did was I expect to grow and to become more and better, and so this comes to me. That's right. Great. And so I know the more I become, the better I am, the more of this individual I want to be, I will attract those things in my life. So I don't expect it because I'm Tiffany. I expect it because I am Tiffany 2.0, Tiffany 3.0. Yes. I just keep getting better and better and better. And for that, I can attract and get anything that I want. And so we're saying
it's levels.
It's levels. Exactly. And I'll tell you something about.
I said it's a funeral for expectations, but I like what you said. Sometimes it's not always burying them, but it's changing them to not put it on people. And that's the thing.
Yes.
We're expecting for people to be the change.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. We're expecting for God to put this person in our life. We're expecting for the right man to show up. We're expecting for our boss to give us a raise because I've been here for 2 years and I'm good at what I do. Good. No, your expectation needs to be on you. I expect myself to get better every day. Woo! I expect that I grow a little bit each day. So after a year, I'm 100% better than I was the year before. I expect me to be better, and better comes to me. And that is what I shifted. And now here's the thing. A lot of people would think that's a burden, but that's the power.
That's the power.
See, that's the power. The power is when I don't put it on someone else and I put it on me, I have the power to create what I want to create in my life. But when I'm always thinking that my boss should give me a raise, when I'm thinking, well, by this time I should be making this much money, when I say, well, Lord, where is it? It's not that it's not his hands. He's saying, look, I've given you the tools. Now use them. Now I have the power to create and become and do whatever I want to be, have, and do. And that is why when I put a beach house, in December 2002, I made a dream board. And on that dream, I had so much stuff. But on that dream board, I put a house on the beach where I wanted to be able to look out my bedroom window and see the ocean and walk to the beach in less than a minute. I did that in December 2002. I lived in Memphis, Tennessee at the time. Ain't no water around but the Mississippi River. Okay. But that's what I wanted. And my expectation was that one day I would get it.
Yes,
but I would get it because of the expectation that I would become the person that could buy that. Yes. I could become the person that would have that. 10 years to the month, I bought a house, a 4-bedroom villa on the beach in Mexico. I could see the water from my bedroom window, and it took me less than a minute to get to exactly what I put. And it wasn't because I said, well, Lord, where's my beach house? In fact, I forgot that I put it on there. It was 10 years ago. I had moved 2 or 3 times by the time, I think we had moved 4 times by the time it had happened. I was married. I was unmarried when I made it. I did it in 2002. We got married in 2006. So he wasn't even around when I was making that dream board. I didn't talk to him and say, one day, what are you going to do to help me get my beach house? Jesus. Come on, what are we going to do? I went on with doing and walking in my purpose, my gifts, what I'm supposed to do to grow into this person. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves in Phoenix, Arizona, which is the desert. Okay. And then I find out less than 4 hours south of where we live is Mexico. And the crazy thing was, I never said, oh, you know what? I'm about due for my dream house. It never happened that way. Never happened that way. We were in a startup. We started making money. I got us out of debt. When we were working, doing all this stuff, right? All this stuff happened. And John was in Canada building our team. And he had been there for a few days. It was freezing. and he has SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Cold weather just messes him up. And so he was complaining about the weather the whole time he was there. And I literally said, you know what? I need to find a really awesome place to thaw him out, right? And so I started Googling, but do we fly? What's close? And then I stumbled upon a place that we could drive to. And when we got down there, we just saw it's one of the last little beach towns that hasn't turned into this huge tourist attraction yet. And next thing I knew, we are just looking at places, and we see a man walk out of a house, and it turns out to be a realtor who is still a great friend of the family. Who he said, "You guys interested in a house?" I said, "Well, yeah, that would be awesome, but I don't know if we're really in the market for it, but I've always wanted one." We closed on that house about 90 days later. Bought that house 90 days later. And when we bought it, I looked at it and I'm just standing there in awe. And I'm standing in my bedroom, in my new bedroom window, looking out the ocean. And then tears started streaming down my eyes that I had finally checked off the last thing that had been on that dream board from December 2002. And so the reason why I'm saying this is a lot of people with their expectations, they're like, well, I should have this watch by now. Well, I should have this car by now. Well, who's going to help me get this? If the thing is, you can put it out there and you can say, this is what I want. And if you are a prayer, if people pray and they say amen, that I heard a pastor say that loosely translate into it is done.
Yes.
You don't, once you say that, you are putting it out there that what I prayed for, it's done. Amen. I don't have to worry about it no more. Amen. So all you have to do is this. All you have to do is work like it's in your hands and have faith and trust that it's in his hands. And not worry and say, well, Lord, I asked for this dream house. I asked for this dream job. I asked for this business. I asked for debt freedom 3 years ago. Where is it? Or I asked for a husband 10 years ago. Where is it? You just walk knowing that it is done. Man. And all you have to do is just make sure, you know what? Let me make sure I'm right. So when it shows up, I don't mess nothing up. And that's where I am today. I am totally not worried about another multiple seven-figure income like I had before. I'm not worried about that. I'm in a new space as a high performance coach, as a speaker and an author. I've been doing this 5 months. And people keep telling me, why are you doing this? You could do network marketing in your sleep. You could have this, you could have that. And I say, you know what? I did it for 18 years. I want to be woke. I don't want to be asleep. I don't want to be just doing it because it's easy. I want to be fresh and new, and I want to have butterflies in my stomach again. I want to do something that keeps me alive, and I know it's coming. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about another man. I'm worried about making sure I don't choose the wrong one. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And so the truth of the matter is, I'm not worried about that. I have told God what it is. I have put it out there. This is what I want. This is what I will have. And now all I do every day is work on me to step into my power, to become the best version of myself. So when it's there, I either, number one, don't miss out on it, or number two, I don't mess it up when it gets there. And that's all you have to do, because it's coming. It is absolutely coming. The thing is, people be standing around waiting. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you the story. Please. Girl, you got me going. I have to tell you the story. I heard a pastor tell a story a long, long time ago. And he said when he was a kid, he and his dad would plant watermelons. Okay, they would go out and plant watermelon seeds. And he said he remembered one time they went out and they planted the seeds. And every single night, he would go out and he would look for the watermelons. He would look for the watermelons. He would just look for it, and he would just look for it. And basically what was happening was he got so impatient, he would dig up the seeds at night while everyone was asleep to check on them and put them back in the ground to make sure that they were okay. And then finally one day, his patch grows into these big, juicy, beautiful watermelons, and he had nothing. And that's when his dad taught him that you have to trust that it's happening even when you can't see it. Digging it up, every time you dug it up, you took away the growth. And when you left it there and did what you were supposed to do, which is just have faith, water, fertilize, and be patient, then you get the big juicy watermelons. And what I realize is when a lot of people have those expectations, hey, I'm supposed to be here by now, I'm supposed to be married by now, I'm supposed to have 4 kids and a white picket fence by now, what's going on? That's the equivalent of going out and digging up those seeds instead of doing your part, which is have faith that the work is being done under the ground, and you just make sure you do your part. So when it comes up, you can take care of it and receive the harvest.
I'm full. Oh my God. Oh, I'm overflowing. Tiffany, you have been beyond a blessing. You honestly, y'all just got like, really, we could have did this and made y'all pay to come and hear this, because this is some real life-changing nuggets that you are dropping in here, sister. How can we support you? How can we connect with you? You said do you have a book yet? Can we buy it? Where you at?
Oh, that's awesome. And it's a lot of it right now is, like I said, I'm stepping into this new space. Best thing you can do is I do a lot of on Instagram. I'm coming back to Facebook. And just follow me on social media. I'm rebranding myself. If anyone needs high performance coaching or life coaching, that's what I do. Now you can DM me or reach out to me through Messenger right now. And just watch out for me. Watch out in the next 90 days. Hopefully, I'm working on the rebranding and everything, and hopefully I can come back on in early 2019,
Absolutely.
January, February, and show you the new me and the new launch. But
Yes.
Right now, a lot of my success has been with coaching, and what I'm doing has been word of mouth. And just spread the word. Click on a link and tell someone, message her. I'm all
Yes.
over it, or DM me on Instagram. Yep. And just say, hey, I need some help. Want to work. I do network marketing, and I do small business, and I do life coaching, because I've been living this life, and I'm still doing well no matter what comes no matter what comes my way. So
I absolutely love it. I'll make sure that I put your I forget what you call those names. I'm getting old now too, like the Instagram names. Put those in there. But before we go, Tiffany, just I guess to kind of wrap it up, maybe just some final parting words, whether people are single, divorced, want to be married, don't want to be married. How do we become unbreakable, undeniable, and unstoppable? Final words.
Well, first of all, I just feel like you have to know that, I'm not even going to say, everyone's like, just know that you are enough. You are enough. I'm going to say that you are already equipped, and you are more than enough. You are extra in a good way.
Yeah.
You are everything. And I would just say this, I still believe in marriage. I'm going to get married again. I think marriage is an amazing, beautiful institution. And I just think it's the most awesome thing in the whole world. And so for a person who wants to be married, want to be married. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to be married. There are some things that I've learned that will help you get there faster. And that's some of the stuff that I'm going to be teaching people as well. Because a lot of women aren't married because they're focusing on not being married. People have a tendency to focus on what they don't want instead of focusing on what they do want. So there are a lot of people who want to be married, and they're focusing on, I'm alone, I'm single, I'm alone, right? And then there's some people who are married focusing on being single. And so I just feel like, and I'll just say this, because I'm pretty sure I've seen men jumping on that.
Yeah.
And but I will say this. What I have learned is that if you want someone to fall in love with you, you've got to fall in love with you. And I don't mean when I lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't mean when my hair grows back out, my edges get right. I don't mean when I get out of debt. I mean, you have to fall in love with you right now at this very moment. You have to love your nappy edges or no edges. You have to love your cellulite and love handles. You have to love your bad credit score. You have to love all of that. And the truth about love is this. When you love yourself, when you love someone and you accept them for where they are, it doesn't mean you want to leave them there. That's not true love.
Yeah.
True love is, I love you enough to help you, to do my part to help you become better. And you've got to say that to you first. And when you do that and you walk in your light and you live, and when people say live your best life, people are like, oh, I'm living my best life. I'm like, well, what life were you living before they came up with that term?
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I've been living my best life all this time. All this time has been the best life. Y'all just coined a cute little term, but I have refused to live any other life but my best life. And I've been doing that for a very, very long time. And when you step out and you live and love you. And when I say love you, I mean love every part of you, do good things for you, take care of you, read things, feel things, do things that fill you up, and stop worrying about what somebody else is doing or not doing. When you focus on that, I'm going to tell you something what's really crazy. Incredible people show up in your life who want to love you too. The problem is with people who are unhappily single, okay? There are people who are single and not happy about it. Those unhappily single people are thinking they need someone there with them to be happy. They are alone and unhappy. But the people who are happily single are the people who by themselves look like they're having a great time. By themselves, making things happen. Right. By themselves, improving, growing, traveling, doing, just enjoying themselves. That is what, then you know what happens? People go, wow, she looks like she's having a great time. And for women, ladies, men don't want to join your life to make your life better. They want to join your life because your life is great already. Yeah. And the problem is women are, a lot of us, not all, are actually waiting for a man to improve their life.
No, ma'am.
And the thing is, men, not men who just want someone to be with for now, not men looking for a placeholder so they don't have to be alone. When a man is truly looking for a partner, he wants to find a woman whose life is great without him. Yes. Because if your life is great without him, when he joins you in your great life, he can see you and him having an even greater life. Yeah. But the problem is many of us are just sitting there waiting on him to show up.
Somebody to complete you.
Exactly. And there is no such thing. You are whole already. Yes. You are whole already. There is no completion. You are whole. You came into the world whole. You just don't understand how whole you are yet. Wow. And if you focus, I suggest to everyone, from now to the end of the year, and every day do something that says you love you. And unfortunately, a lot of women think that is, oh, I'm gonna go buy me a purse, I'm gonna buy you shoes. Girl, you will be broke if you do that every day. Okay? There are so many ways to prove that you love you. Go do the workout that you don't want to do, but that shows you love you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Call a friend. Call a friend that you haven't talked to and connect with them to give love, and that shows you love you. I don't want to be too long, but my point is, you have to fall in love with you and be happy with you first. And then that's when, it's what's happened in my life. When I was down and when I was depressed, I had a good friend of mine, a male friend. I told him, I am getting a divorce. I'm going through divorce, and I am 44 years old. Who's going to want me? And I'm 44. Who's gonna want me? And I've got a kid. I'm 44 years old. I've been married for 10 years. Who's gonna even want me? He said, Tiffany, first of all, what you have to understand is there are people who've been wanting you the whole time you've been married. He said, this is what he told me. He said, but your light has been off. Your light's been off. You've turned your light off. You look down, you have the shades down, and you have not let anyone know there is no light. So they don't know that they can join you and be and have and enjoy the warmth of your light. He said, once you turn your light on, you are going to be shocked at who will show up and who's already been standing there. And you know what? I worked on turning on my light. And when I turned on my light, he was not wrong. He was not wrong. And I finally get a chance to enjoy being me. Not me who needs to be this woman for this man. The image, not me who has to figure out how to be a black stepmom to 3 white stepdaughters that I was not looking for. That I just really wasn't trying to, not that I get a chance to just be me. And now that I get a chance to be me and my light is on, people show up, and that's what you have to do. Turn your light on, let the shades up, air the place out, do some spring cleaning of limiting beliefs, trapped emotions, and trauma, and watch who shows up in your life. And then the best part is, then instead of chasing for someone or hoping that one chooses you, you get a chance to choose, because they will stand in line and hope that they get chosen by you.
Ma'am. Okay, Ms. Tiffany, please don't let this ever end. Like, I am here. I cannot wait until, you get this book going wherever we can support you here at Single Talk or Saved in the City. This is actually a branch of my radio podcast show, Saved and the City. Single Talk is an extension of that. So, you know, we love you here as we can, as you continue to grow. We definitely are in support of you. So again, y'all follow her on Instagram, on Facebook. I'll make sure I put it in the group. If you haven't joined the Single Talk group, make sure you do that. Just search for it on Facebook, Single Talk, hashtag Single Talk. And you guys can get connected there. And normally our times are every other Tuesday. So not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday at 8 p.m. But for special people like Tiffany Beverly Malott, honey, we will make it. What time you available?
I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much.
And so they're asking for your website, but I don't think you wanted to give that just yet because you're rebranding.
Yes, if you don't mind, just tell them to hit me on Instagram, and I'll come back in January and let you guys know what and where is going on, and just have a little patience with me. I get one shot, and I want to do it right.
Absolutely. Well, we love you, Tiffany. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for being on Single Talk, and you guys, thanks for watching. We'll be back in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.